Alright, we are trying to get this thing driving. I'm doing a little bit of setting up with the Spitronics ECU, and this makes it super easy to get your tach working without any other devices. Some people need like a CAN converter. We might still need a CAN converter for some of the gauges to work, but for the tach, it's super simple. In the ECU setup menu down here at Pulses RPM, this was set at 4 because it was an 8-cylinder, and it was making the RPM read like 2000 RPM. If you drop this to 3 in the Spitronics ECU, it's basically telling your gauge cluster that it's a 6-cylinder engine firing, and our RPM is spot on. Let me show you. Okay, so that worked, got RPM sorted out, but if you noticed, the battery wasn't charging. We were only at like 12 volts when it was running, and water temperature was like -40, so I'm not sure if I need to repin the temperature sensor or what, but we need to look into the alternator and water temperature before we can really drive this thing. It's starting up super nice. I'm very happy about that, but we need to figure out these two issues. Okay, working on this alternator, trying to get it to charge. One of my awesome subscribers actually posted in the comments of one of my previous videos clarifying the wiring for the alternator, because I was a little bit confused. One of the wires that I did not connect, the red wire with a blue stripe, that's supposed to go to a gauge fuse. Apparently, when power gets sent to that, it tells the voltage regulator to start working to let the alternator work. I did not connect that wire, so what I'm doing now, just to mock it up, I ran this wire. This is just scrap wire I had laying around. This is going to that red wire with a blue stripe. And over here, if you saw my previous video, this is where I'm getting my 12-volt ignition source. I have a small ignition wire going to this relay, and then I have some switched ignition devices going to here. So I'm going to tap into this wire here to get switched 12-volt to the voltage regulator, and hopefully that should work. And this particular wire, the red wire with a blue stripe on the 3-pin connector for the alternator, it's the wire in the middle. So that needs to go to a switched 12-volt source from the factory. It went to the gauge fuse, but I'm just running it to here. It doesn't matter where it gets the voltage from, just as long as it's switched ignition, not straight battery. Here's that 3-pin alternator connector. Here is the red wire with the blue stripe. I have this running to my switched 12-volt relay. I just have it roughed in. So I'm going to plug this into the alternator, turn the car on, and if that works and it's charging, I will tidy up this wiring. Okay, fingers crossed. So right now we're at like 12 volts. I think it's working. Working on the coolant temperature sensor now. With the temperature sensor plugged in with this connector, which I depinned and repinned because they sent me the wrong connector. It's showing -40 C and Fahrenheit, so basically no connection. So I unplugged it. No change, and I made this little pigtail. This is basically to troubleshoot if it's the sensor, or if it's the connector, or, you know, if it was pinned incorrectly. So with this pigtail, I can plug it in, and actually, I get a good reading. So it was either just the pins were flipped, or it didn't have a solid connection. But watch what happens when I connect these wires to there. Plugged in, and it went from -40 to 29 C, and that is basically ambient temperature right now. So when your ECU gets a cold signal like that, if your temperature sensor fails or you disconnect it and you get a full cold signal, that will have the computer just dump fuel in the motor because it's trying to heat it up to get it to operating temperature. So this was running a little rich, and it should run even better now that we're getting a proper temperature reading. So now that I discovered that it was either a bad connection or the pins were flipped, when I get this thing snapped back in, if I have 29 C, then I know everything is right, and we can progress. We're getting very close to first drive here. Working on the intake now, got it pretty much finished. Let me show you what I did here. I'm running a 3.5-inch filter and piping, And the throttle body here is 3 1/4 inch, so this 90-degree coupler is a 3 1/4 to a 3 1/2. Then I have about 4 inches of piping in here, 3 1/2 inch aluminum piping, a 45-degree 3 1/2 inch coupler, about 8 inches of 3 1/2 inch pipe, and a sicky green filter. This did have some clearance issues with the hood. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I squished it to make it oval. It was standing up just a little bit too high because it's 3 1/2 inch piping. So yeah, it's a little ovaled. So I crushed it a little bit to make it clear the hood. And now it fits pretty much perfect. And I'll probably leave it like that for now. Maybe eventually a project later down the road will be making some kind of heat shield or something, but for now this will work and get me by, and I'll show you that the hood does close. Sweet. Alright, I've been steadily working on the exhaust on this thing. I'm pretty proud of this. This is a Y pipe that I made myself. I just bought like a universal piping kit off Amazon and a flex joint, and this is what I've made so far. That's pretty much just a temporary muffler so I can do startups on this and not wake up the neighborhood to where it's not open headers. But I've basically just been getting measurements and then taking the piping to my work, doing cuts, tack welding, bringing it back, test fitting. It's been a very tedious process, but yeah, I've got the Y pipe made up, and my eventual plan is to connect it to the HKS axle back there, but now that I have a little muffler on, it should sound better and not be as ridiculous. So now I can probably test drive it. I'm very excited to see how this thing sounds now. Hell yeah. Okay, here is the latest update. I replaced the power steering pump because my power steering was not working. There was no whining, no nothing. It was spinning, but it wasn't creating any flow. I believe it was the issue with that like Tundra bolt piece that went into the pump, and I just think that whole setup was incorrect. So I bought a pump for a GS400, bought a new pump, and now my power steering works flawlessly. I'm still using that shorter banjo bolt that I found and the SC430 power steering line, but I just replaced the pump and now my power steering works flawlessly. Got the intake installed and it's working flawlessly also. And I'm having issues with the clutch. I'm not sure if it needs bled more or if the pedal needs adjusted or what, but when I turn the engine on, I'm not able to get the transmission in and out of gear. If I turn the engine off, start it in first, and hold the clutch down, I'll be in neutral, but I can't, like, if I move the pedal like 1/8 of an inch off the floor, it engages. So not sure if it's a bleeding problem or an adjustment problem, but I'm going to try to fix that. But it's running good.